Welcome, weary traveler, to a quiet journey back in time. Tonight, we'll gently drift into the fascinating, yet often overlooked, world of medieval knights. This is not a tale of clashing swords or thunderous battles, but a soft exploration of the calm codes and gentle expectations that shape their lives in the heart of medieval Europe. Picture yourself wandering through ancient castles and tranquil courtyards, where the air carries the faint scent of wood smoke and lavender, and the world moves at a slower, more deliberate pace. Here, honor and duty wove a quiet tapestry, guiding even the mightiest warriors through their days with a serene sense of purpose. You don't need to hold onto every detail, dear listener. Just let the soothing rhythm of this story wash over you, like a gentle stream flowing over smooth stones. This is a tale meant to cradle your mind, to invite you into a peaceful slumber. Perhaps you'll find comfort in the soft cadence of history, in the way these ancient principles unfold with a tranquil grace. Feel your breath deepen, your shoulders soften, as you sink into the gentle embrace of your bed. There's no rush, no urgency, only the calm unfolding of a world long past, whispering its secrets to you in hushed tones. We'll begin by stepping softly into the world these knights inhabited, a realm of stone walls and flickering candlelight, where young boys dreamed of knighthood under the watchful stars. From there, we'll drift through the quiet stages of their lives, the lessons of childhood, the duties of apprenticeship, the sacred vows of ceremony, and the gentle codes that bound their hearts. We'll explore their daily rhythms, their courteous ideals, and the subtle artistry of their shields, all woven together with a serene thread of honor. And as our journey nears its end, we'll reflect on the quiet wisdom of elder knights and the lasting echoes of their ideals, still faintly heard in our modern world. So, close your eyes, if you wish, and let your mind wander. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves outside a castle window, the distant chime of a chapel bell. This is your moment to rest, to let go of the day's cares, and to simply listen as the story unfolds. With each word, feel yourself drifting deeper into peace, carried gently by the flow of history. Relax, breathe, and let the quiet world of medieval knights envelop you in its calm embrace. The quiet cradle, growing up in a knightly world. Let us first imagine a quiet castle, perhaps nestled on a gentle hill, its stone walls warmed by the afternoon sun. Within its sturdy confines, a young boy, perhaps 7 or 8 years old, begins his gentle journey toward knighthood in medieval Europe. His days are filled not with grand adventures, but with quiet observations and simple lessons, each moment a soft step toward a life of honor and duty. Picture the castle courtyard, where the clink of a blacksmith's hammer blends with the soft rustle of leaves, and the air carries the faint scent of freshly baked bread from the kitchens. This is the world that cradles our young noble, a place of calm routines and gentle expectations, where the seeds of knighthood are tenderly sown. In these early years, our boy is born into a noble family, for knighthood is a path reserved for those of high birth. His home is not a battlefield, but a serene household where tapestries adorn the walls, their woven threads telling tales of ancestors who served with quiet dignity. The boy's first lessons come not from books, but from watching those around him. He sees his father, perhaps a lord or a knight himself, speaking with measured courtesy to his vassals, his voice calm yet firm. He notices his mother, graceful and composed, managing the household with a gentle authority. These quiet examples shape his understanding of what it means to be noble, not through loud deeds, but through the steady rhythm of responsibility. Each morning, the boy awakens to the soft chime of a distant chapel bell, its notes drifting through the castle like a whispered prayer. His day begins with simple tasks, designed to instill discipline in a gentle way. He might carry a tray of bread to the great hall, his small hands careful not to spill, or he might follow a servant to the stables, watching as horses are groomed with slow, deliberate strokes. These moments are not hurried. They unfold with a tranquil pace, teaching him patience and care. The castle itself seems to breathe with a quiet life of its own, its stone corridors echoing with the soft footsteps of those who tend to its needs. As the boy moves through this world, he learns to listen, to observe, to carry himself with a budding sense of grace. At the age of 7 or 8, our young noble takes his first formal step toward knighthood, becoming a page in the household of another lord. This is not a jarring change, but a gentle transition, like a stream finding a new path. Imagine him arriving at a new castle, his small chest filled with a mix of curiosity and quiet resolve. The lord's household welcomes him with calm warmth, and he is given a place among other boys of similar age, all learning the ways of service. As a page, his duties are simple yet meaningful. He might pour wine at the lord's table, his movements careful and deliberate, or carry messages through the castle, his steps soft against the stone floors. These tasks, though modest, teach him the value of serving others with dignity, a lesson that will linger in his heart as he grows. The life of a page is one of quiet learning, woven with gentle lessons in manners and courtesy. Picture the boy seated at a long wooden table, listening as a tutor speaks of the virtues that define a knight: loyalty, truthfulness, and respect. The tutor's voice is soft, unhurried, allowing the words to settle into the boy's mind like dew on morning grass. He learns to bow with a graceful dip of the head, to address his elders with polite words, and to sit with a posture that reflects his noble birth. These lessons are not strict or harsh. They're offered with a calm patience, encouraging the boy to grow at his own pace. In the evenings, he might join the household in the great hall, where a minstrel strums a lute, the notes floating through the air like a gentle breeze. Here, he hears tales of chivalry, not of battles, but of knights who showed mercy, who honored their word, who protected the weak with quiet strength. Beyond manners, the boy's days are filled with gentle activities that prepare him for the physical demands of knighthood. He might practice running across the courtyard, his laughter mingling with the soft clatter of wooden toys wielded by other pages. These games, though playful, teach balance and coordination, all under the watchful yet kind eyes of the castle's retainers. He learns to care for horses, brushing their coats with slow, rhythmic strokes, feeling the warmth of their breath against his hands. These moments with the animals bring a quiet joy, grounding him in the simple pleasures of care and connection. Sometimes he is allowed to watch the older squires as they train, their movements deliberate and graceful, a distant promise of the skills he will one day learn. The spiritual life of the castle also shapes our young page, guiding him toward a quiet sense of purpose. Each day, he attends prayers in the chapel, where the soft glow of candlelight dances across stone walls. The priest's voice, low and melodic, speaks of humility and service, words that resonate in the boy's young heart. These moments of reflection are not heavy or somber, but serene, offering a space to pause and listen to the quiet stirrings of his soul. The chapel's stillness becomes a refuge, a place where he can dream of the knight he hopes to become, a man of honor, guided by a gentle code. As these quiet years of childhood gently unfold, the young boy grows in body and spirit, his days a tapestry of simple tasks, gentle lessons, and serene moments. The castle, with its steady rhythms and calm routines, has cradled him, preparing him for the next stage of his journey. He is no longer just a child, but a page on the cusp of greater responsibilities, his heart filled with a quiet determination to honor the path laid before him. Let's softly follow his path now, as he becomes a squire, ready for deeper learning in the gentle service of a knight. The gentle apprenticeship, life as a squire. Our journey now carries us forward, as our young noble becomes a squire, perhaps in his early teens. Imagine him moving quietly through the castle, assisting his knight with gentle tasks, learning the ways of the household and the stable, all under the watchful, yet calm, eye of his mentor in medieval Europe. The castle feels familiar now, its stone walls softened by the glow of torchlight, its corridors humming with the quiet activity of a household at work. The air carries the faint scent of polished wood and fresh herbs, scattered across the floors to sweeten the space. This is the world of the squire, a place of serene dedication, where each day weaves new threads into the tapestry of knighthood. As a squire, our young noble steps into a role of greater responsibility, yet the transition is gentle, like the shift from dawn to daylight. No longer a page performing simple tasks, he is now bound to a knight, serving as both assistant and apprentice. Picture him rising with the first light, his breath visible in the cool morning air as he makes his way to the knight's chambers. His duties begin with small, careful acts, polishing the knight's boots until they gleam softly, or laying out a cloak with precise folds. These tasks, though humble, are performed with a quiet pride, for they teach the squire the value of care and attention, qualities that will one day define his own knighthood. The squire's days are filled with a steady rhythm of service, each moment a lesson in loyalty and humility. He might follow his knight to the great hall, standing attentively at his side during meals, ready to refill a goblet or clear a plate with silent grace. His movements are deliberate, his presence unobtrusive, yet his eyes are always watching, learning the subtle ways his knight carries himself, how he speaks with calm authority, how he listens with thoughtful patience. In these quiet moments, the squire absorbs the essence of knighthood, not through grand gestures, but through the gentle art of being present. Beyond the castle walls, the squire's training extends to the stables, where he deepens his bond with horses, the noble companions of every knight. Imagine him in the soft light of a stable, brushing a horse's flank with slow, rhythmic strokes, the animal's steady breathing a calming counterpoint to his own. He learns to saddle a horse with care, ensuring each strap is secure yet comfortable, and to lead it through the courtyard with a gentle hand. These moments are not rushed. They unfold with a serene patience, teaching the squire to trust and respect the creatures that will carry him through his future duties. Sometimes he is allowed to ride, feeling the horse's strength beneath him, his heart lifting with a quiet joy as he moves in harmony with the animal. The squire's education also includes gentle lessons in the skills that define a knight's grace. In a quiet corner of the castle, he might practice dancing, his steps tentative at first, guided by the soft notes of a lute played by a minstrel. These lessons are not about performance, but about cultivating balance and poise, qualities that reflect a knight's inner discipline. He learns to play chess, seated across from his knight, the wooden pieces clicking softly as they move across the board. These games sharpen his mind, teaching him strategy and foresight in a calm, unhurried way. Through these activities, the squire grows not only in skill, but in character, his confidence blossoming like a flower opening to the morning sun. Physical training, too, is part of the squire's gentle apprenticeship, though it is far from the clamor of battle. Picture him in the castle courtyard, practicing with a wooden staff, his movements slow and deliberate as he learns to balance strength with control. The knight watches, offering quiet corrections, his voice steady and encouraging. The squire might run laps around the courtyard, his footsteps soft against the earth, or lift small weights, feeling his muscles grow stronger with each careful repetition. These exercises are not grueling, but measured, designed to build endurance and grace without strain. In the cool of the evening, he might join other squires in playful games, their laughter echoing softly, a reminder of the youth still alive in their hearts. The squire's spiritual life remains a quiet anchor, grounding him amidst his growing responsibilities. Each day, he attends prayers in the castle chapel, where the soft flicker of candles casts gentle shadows across the stone. The priest's voice, low and melodic, speaks of duty and compassion, words that settle into the squire's soul like seeds in fertile soil. These moments of reflection offer a space to pause, to consider the path he is walking, and to renew his quiet resolve. The chapel's stillness wraps around him, a reminder that knighthood is not only a calling of the body, but of the heart. As the squire serves his knight, a gentle bond forms between them, rooted in mutual respect. Imagine the knight sharing quiet stories by the fire, tales of honor and kindness from his own years of service. The squire listens, his eyes bright with wonder, his heart stirred by the calm wisdom in his mentor's words. This relationship is not one of stern authority, but of guidance, like a river shaping its banks with a steady flow. The squire learns to trust his knight, to emulate his quiet strength, and to carry his teachings forward with a serene determination. As the squire's skills quietly blossomed and his understanding deepened, the day for his ultimate transformation slowly drew nearer. His years of gentle apprenticeship have prepared him, not through hardship, but through the steady accumulation of lessons, each one a soft brushstroke on the canvas of his character. The castle, with its tranquil rhythms and calm guidance, has shaped him into a young man ready to take his place among the knights. Let's drift now to the quiet ceremony that marked his official entry into the knightly order. The quiet vow, the knighting ceremony. Imagine the quiet hush of a castle chapel, perhaps bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, as a young man prepares for a profound moment in his life. The knighting ceremony was not a loud event, but a deeply personal, quiet vow, a gentle transition in medieval Europe that marked the passage from squire to knight. Picture the chapel's stone walls, cool and smooth, adorned with simple tapestries that sway faintly in the draught. The air carries the faint scent of beeswax and incense, mingling with the stillness of anticipation. Our young squire, now in his late teens, stands on the threshold of knighthood, his heart beating with a calm resolve, ready to embrace the sacred promises that will shape his future. The ceremony begins not with fanfare, but with a period of quiet reflection known as the vigil. The night before his knighting, the squire is led to the chapel, where he will spend hours alone in prayer. Imagine him kneeling on the stone floor, the cold seeping gently through his simple tunic, grounding him in this moment of solitude. Above him, a single candle flickers, its light casting soft shadows that dance across the altar. The silence is profound, broken only by the faint creak of wooden pews or the distant call of a night bird beyond the castle walls. In this stillness, the squire reflects on the virtues he has learned: loyalty, honor, compassion, and offers his heart to a higher purpose. His thoughts drift like leaves on a tranquil stream, unhurried, as he contemplates the responsibilities he will soon embrace. As dawn approaches, the squire rises, his body stiff but his spirit serene. He is bathed in a quiet ritual, a symbolic cleansing that prepares him for the sacred day ahead. Picture him standing in a small chamber, where servants pour warm water over his shoulders, the steam rising in soft curls. The water is scented with herbs, perhaps lavender or rosemary, filling the air with a calming fragrance. His hair is combed, his skin anointed with oil, each gesture deliberate and gentle, as if to wash away the last traces of boyhood. Clothed in a plain white tunic, he feels the weight of this moment, not heavy, but grounding like the soft pressure of earth beneath bare feet. This act of purification is not merely physical, but a quiet preparation of the soul, aligning him with the ideals he will soon vow to uphold. The ceremony itself unfolds in the chapel, where the castle's household gathers in hushed reverence. Imagine the scene. The lord or senior knight stands before the altar, his presence steady and calm, while the squire kneels before him. The chapel is bathed in the soft light of morning, filtering through stained glass windows, casting gentle hues of blue and gold across the stone floor. The squire's breath is steady, his eyes fixed on the simple cross above the altar, a symbol of the faith that guides this moment. The Lord speaks in a low, measured voice, reciting words that have been spoken for generations, each syllable carrying the weight of tradition. He asks the squire to pledge his loyalty, his truthfulness, his dedication to protecting the weak. The squire's responses are soft yet firm, each vow a quiet promise that resonates in the stillness of the chapel. The heart of the ceremony is the dubbing, a moment of serene significance. The Lord lifts a sword, its blade catching the candlelight, and gently touches it to the squire's shoulders, first the right, then the left. The touch is light, almost fleeting, like a whisper of wind across a still lake. "Rise, Sir Knight," the Lord says, his voice warm and steady, and the squire stands, feeling a quiet transformation within him. He is no longer a squire, but a knight, his identity reshaped by this gentle act. The household murmurs soft words of approval, their voices blending into a low hum, like the rustle of leaves in a peaceful forest. There is no cheering, no clamor, only a shared sense of reverence for the sacred bond now formed. Next comes the donning of the knight's attire, a ritual as symbolic as it is serene. Imagine the squire, now a knight, standing as his new armor is brought forward. The pieces are not heavy with the weight of battle, but light, polished to a soft sheen that reflects the chapel's glow. A squire or attendant fastens a belt around his waist, its leather smooth and supple, adorned with a simple buckle. Spurs, gleaming faintly, are attached to his boots, their quiet jingle a reminder of the journeys he will undertake. Finally, a cloak is draped over his shoulders, its fabric soft and flowing, embroidered with the colors of his family's crest. Each item is presented with care, the movements slow and deliberate, as if the very act of dressing him is a prayer. The knight feels the weight of these symbols, not as a burden, but as a gentle embrace, grounding him in his new role. The ceremony concludes with a quiet blessing. As the priest steps forward, his robes rustling softly. He raises his hands, his voice a soothing chant, asking for guidance and strength for the new knight. The words flow like a gentle stream, washing over the gathering, filling the chapel with a sense of peace. The knight bows his head, his heart full, as the blessing settles into his soul. The household joins in a final prayer, their voices blending in a soft harmony, a moment of unity that binds them all in this sacred rite. As the last notes fade, the knight rises, his gaze calm and steady, ready to step into the world as a bearer of the knightly code. With the sacred vows softly spoken and the gentle touch of the sword on his shoulder, our knight was now ready to embrace the quiet expectations of his new life. The chapel, with its flickering candles and hushed reverence, has marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another. The knight steps out into the castle courtyard, where the morning air is cool and fragrant with the scent of dew. His path is clear, his purpose defined, not by grand ambitions, but by the gentle principles he has vowed to uphold. Let's explore now the gentle code that would guide his every action. The code of chivalry, honor and gentle deeds. Now, let's turn our attention to the gentle heart of knighthood, the code of chivalry. This was not a written law, but a quiet understanding, a set of gentle principles that shaped a knight's character and guided his interactions in medieval Europe. Imagine a castle hall, its long wooden tables draped in soft linen, the air warmed by the glow of a fire crackling in the hearth. The faint scent of rosemary and wood smoke lingers, mingling with the murmur of voices as knights, ladies, and lords share a meal. In this serene setting, chivalry comes to life, not through grand gestures, but through the subtle, deliberate acts of kindness, respect, and honor that define a knight's purpose. As we drift through this code, let your mind rest, carried gently by the rhythm of these ancient ideals, each one a soft whisper from a time long past. Chivalry was a guiding light, a constellation of virtues that illuminated the knight's path through a complex world. At its core was the principle of courtesy, a gentle art that shaped every interaction. Picture our newly dubbed knight moving through the castle, his steps measured, his voice low and respectful as he addresses a lady or a fellow knight. He bows with a graceful dip of his head, his movements unhurried, as if time itself slows to honor the moment. Courtesy was not mere politeness, but a deep expression of respect for others, a way of acknowledging their worth in a world bound by hierarchy. Whether speaking to a lord, a servant, or a child, the knight's words were chosen with care, their tones soft and deliberate, like the gentle ripple of water across a still pond. This practice of courtesy wove a thread of harmony through the castle, creating a space where all felt valued, their presence acknowledged with quiet dignity. Another cornerstone of chivalry was the duty to protect the weak, a commitment that flowed from the knight's strength like a stream from a mountain spring. Imagine a village nestled beyond the castle walls, its thatched roofs glowing softly in the evening light. Here, a knight might pause on his travels, noticing a family struggling to repair a cart, their hands weary from labor. Without fanfare, he dismounts, his cloak brushing the earth, and offers his aid, perhaps lifting a heavy beam or speaking words of encouragement. His actions are not driven by a desire for praise, but by a quiet resolve to ease the burdens of those less fortunate. This duty extended to widows, orphans, and pilgrims, those who walk the world with little protection. The knight's presence was a shield, not of steel, but of compassion, offering safety and comfort in a world that could be harsh. As he moves on, the villager's grateful smiles linger in his heart, a silent reward for his gentle deeds. Loyalty, too, was a pillar of chivalry, a bond as steady as the castle's ancient stones. Picture the knight kneeling before his lord, his head bowed, his voice soft as he renews his pledge of service. This vow was not a chain, but a thread of trust, woven through years of shared moments. The quiet conversations by the fire, the shared meals in the great hall, the mutual respect that grew like ivy over time. Loyalty extended beyond the lord to the knight's companions, his family, and the ideals he held dear. In a world where alliances could shift like the wind, the knight's loyalty was a constant, a beacon of reliability. He might ride through a misty valley to deliver a message for his lord, his horse's hooves muffled by the damp earth, his heart steady with the knowledge that his word was his bond. This quiet fidelity shaped not only his actions, but his very character, grounding him in a sense of purpose that was both humble and profound. Truthfulness was another gentle virtue, a commitment to honesty that shone like a candle in the darkness. Imagine the knight standing in a council chamber, the air heavy with the weight of a decision. His fellow knights debate, their voices rising and falling, but he speaks with a calm clarity, his words measured and true. He does not twist the truth for gain, nor does he shy away from speaking it, even when it is difficult. His honesty is not sharp or confrontational, but gentle, like a breeze that clears the air without disturbing the peace. This commitment to truth extended to his own heart, where he strove to be honest with himself, reflecting on his actions in the quiet moments of the night. In the chapel, as the soft glow of candlelight bathed his face, he might whisper a prayer for guidance, seeking to align his actions with the truth he held dear. Chivalry also called the knight to humility, a virtue that kept his heart soft and open, even as his status grew. Picture him walking through the castle courtyard, his armor polished but unassuming, his gaze warm as he nods to a servant carrying a basket of bread. He does not seek to tower over others, but to stand beside them, his strength a quiet support rather than a display of pride. Humility was taught through the small, everyday acts, sharing a meal with his squires, listening to the wisdom of an elder, or kneeling in prayer beside those of lower rank. These moments reminded the knight that his title was not a crown, but a responsibility, a call to serve with a gentle heart. In the stillness of the evening, as he sat by a window overlooking the moonlit fields, he might reflect on his day, finding peace in the knowledge that he had acted with modesty and grace. The code of chivalry was not a rigid set of rules, but a living, breathing ideal shaped by the knight's own heart and the needs of those around him. It was a guide for how to live with honor, not in the clamor of great deeds, but in the quiet moments of daily life. Imagine the knight pausing by a stream, the water gurgling softly as he watches the ripples spread. In this moment, he feels the weight of his vows, not as a burden, but as a gentle current guiding his actions with purpose. Whether offering a kind word to a weary traveler, mending a fence for a villager, or simply listening to a friend's troubles, the knight's life was a tapestry of small, meaningful acts, each one woven with the threads of chivalry. This code was not without its challenges, for the world was not always kind, and temptations to stray from these ideals were ever present. Yet the knight's commitment to chivalry was a quiet strength, a resolve to hold fast to his principles even in the face of difficulty. Picture him in the castle's great hall, where a heated discussion unfolds, voices rising like a storm. The knight remains calm, his words a soothing balm, seeking to mend discord with understanding rather than force. His adherence to chivalry is not a show of weakness, but a testament to his inner fortitude, a gentle power that radiates from within. As a knight quietly lived by this code, his days were also structured by gentle duties and responsibilities beyond the castle walls. The principles of chivalry shaped not only his heart, but his interactions with the wider world, from the humblest village to the grandest court. His life was a delicate balance, a dance of honor and duty performed with grace and care. Let's softly explore now how he interacted with the world around him through the tranquil rhythms of his daily life. Daily rhythms, gentle duties, and pastimes. Life for a knight in medieval Europe was not always a grand adventure. Often, it settled into a peaceful rhythm of gentle duties and quiet pastimes. Imagine the soft light of dawn touching the castle walls. As a knight begins his day, the air cool and fragrant with the scent of dew-soaked grass. The castle stirs slowly, its stone corridors echoing with the faint clatter of servants' footsteps and the distant lowing of cattle beyond the walls. The knight moves through this world with a calm purpose, his heart attuned to the steady cadence of responsibility and leisure. As we drift through his daily life, let your mind rest, carried gently by the soothing flow of these tranquil routines, each one a soft brushstroke in the portrait of a knight's existence. The knight's day often begins with the quiet ritual of morning prayers, a moment to center his heart before the tasks ahead. Picture him in the castle chapel, where the first rays of sunlight filter through narrow windows, casting gentle patterns across the stone floor. The air is still, scented with a faint trace of incense from the previous evening's service. He kneels, his head bowed, as the priest's voice, low and melodic, weaves a prayer of gratitude and guidance. The words settle over him like a soft blanket, grounding him in a sense of purpose. These moments are not rushed. They unfold with a serene patience, allowing the knight to reflect on his vows and the gentle code that shapes his life. As he rises, his spirit is calm, ready to embrace the day with quiet resolve. With prayers concluded, the knight turns to the responsibilities of his estate, for many knights were also lords, tasked with overseeing lands and people. Imagine him walking through the castle courtyard, his cloak swaying softly in the morning breeze as he meets with his steward. The steward speaks in a measured tone, reporting on the harvest or the repair of a mill by the river. The knight listens attentively, his gaze steady, offering thoughtful suggestions with a voice that is firm yet kind. He might ride out to the fields, his horse moving at a gentle trot, the rhythm of hooves against earth a soothing counterpoint to his thoughts. In the village, he pauses to speak with tenants, their faces weathered but warm, as they share news of their crops or families. His presence is a quiet reassurance, a reminder that their lord cares for their well-being. These duties are not burdensome, but meaningful, a chance to nurture the land and its people with a gentle hand. Back at the castle, the knight might oversee the household, ensuring its smooth operation with the same care he gives his lands. Picture him in the great hall, where servants arrange tables for the midday meal, their movements swift yet quiet. He speaks with the cook, nodding approvingly as the scent of freshly baked bread fills the air, or inspects the stores of grain and wine, his fingers brushing the cool stone of the cellar walls. These tasks, though practical, are performed with a calm dignity, reflecting the knight's commitment to those who depend on him. In these moments, he is not a figure of grandeur, but but a steward of harmony, weaving order into the daily life of the castle with a soft touch. The knight's day is not all duty, for gentle exercise forms a quiet thread in his routine, keeping his body strong and his mind clear. Imagine him in a secluded corner of the courtyard, practicing with a wooden staff, his movements slow and deliberate, like a dance performed in silence. The staff traces graceful arcs through the air, its soft thud against a padded target blending with the chirping of birds perched on the castle walls. He might ride his horse through a nearby meadow, the wind whispering through the grass, his posture relaxed yet poised. These exercises are not strenuous, but measured, designed to maintain balance and grace without strain. As he moves, the world around him seems to slow, the rustle of leaves and the distant hum of village life creating a serene backdrop to his efforts. Leisure, too, plays a gentle role in the knight's life, offering moments of joy amidst his responsibilities. One such pastime is hunting, a pursuit that blends skill with tranquility. Picture the knight riding into a forest at dawn, his falcon perched on his gloved hand, its feathers soft and warm against his skin. The woods are alive with the quiet sounds of nature, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a deer, the gentle trickle of a stream. He releases the falcon, watching as it soars upward, its wings cutting silent arcs against the pale sky. The hunt is not about conquest, but connection, a chance to marvel at the beauty of the creature and the world it navigates. As the falcon returns, landing with a soft flutter, the knight feels a quiet satisfaction, his heart lifted by the harmony of the moment. Another favored pastime is falconry, a gentle art that requires patience and trust. Imagine the knight standing in a meadow, the grass swaying softly around his boots as he trains his hawk. He speaks to the bird in a low, soothing voice, offering bits of meat from his hand, his movements slow to avoid startling the creature. The hawk's eyes, bright and keen, meet his own, a silent understanding passing between them. These moments are meditative, a chance to step away from the demands of the castle and lose himself in the quiet rhythm of training. The bond between knight and hawk grows with each gentle interaction, a reminder that even the smallest acts of care can forge lasting ties. In the evenings, the knight might join the castle's household for quiet amusements, gathering in the great hall where a fire casts a warm glow across the walls. Picture him seated at a table, a chessboard before him, the wooden pieces gleaming softly in the firelight. He plays against a squire or a fellow knight, their moves deliberate, the soft click of pieces mingling with a murmur of conversation. These games are not competitive, but collaborative, a chance to share stories and laughter in a tranquil setting. Sometimes, a minstrel strums a lute, the notes floating through the air like petals on a breeze, while the knight listens, his mind drifting to memories of his own youth. These moments of leisure are a balm, softening the edges of the day and binding the household together in quiet fellowship. As the day draws to a close, the knight might walk the castle ramparts, the stars emerging like tiny candles in the velvet sky. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of pine from the distant forest. He pauses, his hands resting on the stone parapet, and gazes out over the sleeping land. In this quiet moment, he reflects on his day, the duties fulfilled, the moments of joy, the gentle rhythm that has carried him through. His heart is at peace, his spirit anchored by the steady flow of his life's purpose. The castle below hums with the soft sounds of rest, a reminder that his work, though quiet, sustains the world around him. Beyond the quiet routines of the castle, a knight was also expected to cultivate certain gentle virtues and skills, ones that shaped his interactions in the wider world. His life was a delicate balance, a tapestry woven with threads of duty, leisure, and reflection. Let's drift now to the elegant world of courtly love, a concept far softer than its name suggests. Courteous hearts, the rules of courtly love. In the quiet chambers of medieval courts, amidst the gentle strumming of lutes and the soft rustle of silken gowns, there developed a fascinating and surprisingly gentle tradition known as courtly love. This was not about grand passions or fleeting romances, but about quiet admiration and respectful devotion in medieval Europe. Imagine a castle hall bathed in the warm glow of candlelight, where knights and ladies gather, their voices soft and measured, their interactions guided by an unspoken code of reverence. The air carries the faint scent of lavender and polished wood, mingling with the subtle fragrance of flowers woven into garlands. As we drift through the delicate world of courtly love, let your mind rest, carried gently by the soothing cadence of this refined ideal, each moment a soft whisper of grace and dignity from a time long past. Courtly love was a tapestry of ideals, woven with threads of respect, inspiration, and restraint. It was not a pursuit of physical affection, but a spiritual and emotional connection, a way for a knight to honor a lady through acts of devotion that lifted his soul. Picture our knight standing in a sunlit courtyard, his eyes resting on a lady whose presence seems to brighten the very air. She might be a noblewoman, perhaps the wife of his lord, her grace reflected in the gentle sweep of her gown or the calm smile that graces her lips. The knight feels a quiet stirring in his heart, not a tempest of desire, but a serene admiration, like the soft glow of dawn spreading across a still valley. His role is not to possess, but to serve, to offer his loyalty and respect in a way that honors her virtues and inspires his own. The rules of courtly love were unwritten, yet deeply felt, guiding the knight's actions with a delicate precision. One such rule was the practice of silent devotion, a commitment to admire from afar with humility and restraint. Imagine the knight seated at a banquet, the long table adorned with silver goblets that catch the candlelight. Across from him sits the lady, her laughter soft as she speaks with her companions. The knight watches, his gaze steady but unobtrusive, his heart warmed by her presence. He does not interrupt or seek her attention. Instead, he carries her image in his mind, a quiet muse that inspires him to act with greater honor. This silent reverence is not a burden, but a gift, a way to cultivate his own virtues by holding her in high esteem, her grace a beacon that lights his path. Another principle of courtly love was the offering of gentle service, small acts that express devotion without expectation of reward. Picture the knight walking through a garden, the air fragrant with blooming roses, as he notices the lady's shawl slip from her shoulders. With a quiet step, he retrieves it, folding the soft fabric with care before presenting it to her with a respectful bow. His words are few, perhaps a simple, "My lady, may I assist?" spoken in a low, soothing tone. The act is not grand, but meaningful, a gesture that reflects his commitment to her comfort and dignity. These moments of service are woven into the fabric of courtly life, each one a delicate thread that strengthens the bond of respect between knight and lady, without crossing into impropriety. Courtly love also inspired the knight to express his admiration through creative acts, such as poetry or song, which were offered with a gentle sincerity. Imagine him in a quiet corner of the castle, seated by a window where moonlight spills across the stone floor. In his hands is a quill, its tip dipping into ink as he writes verses that praise the lady's virtues, her kindness, her wisdom, her grace. The words flow softly, like a stream over smooth pebbles, each line a reflection of his admiration rather than a declaration of passion. Later, he might share these verses during a gathering in the great hall, his voice low and melodic, accompanied by the gentle strum of a lute. The lady listens, her smile serene, understanding the offering as a tribute to her character, not a claim upon her heart. These creative expressions were a cornerstone of courtly love, a way to elevate the spirit through beauty and art. The tradition of courtly love was also a source of inspiration, urging the knight to strive for excellence in all aspects of his life. Picture him riding through a misty forest, his horse's hooves muffled by the damp earth, his thoughts turning to the lady who inspires him. Her image in his mind is a quiet motivator, encouraging him to act with greater courtesy, to speak with greater truth, to serve with greater humility. This inspiration is not a fire that consumes, but a gentle breeze that guides, lifting his actions to a higher standard. Whether he is aiding a villager with a broken cart or speaking in a council chamber, the thought of her virtues softens his demeanor, reminding him to embody the ideals of chivalry in every moment. Yet courtly love was not without its challenges, for it required the knight to balance admiration with restraint, to honor without overstepping. Imagine him standing in the castle's great hall, where music and laughter fill the air, yet he remains composed, his heart steady despite the lady's nearness. The rules of courtly love demanded that he never seek to disrupt her life or her duties, but rather to support her place within the court. This restraint was a form of strength, a quiet discipline that shaped his character as much as his vows of knighthood. In moments of solitude, perhaps by the fire as the castle slept, he might reflect on this balance, finding peace in the knowledge that his devotion was pure, untainted by selfish desires. The lady, too, played a gentle role in this tradition, responding to the knight's devotion with grace and kindness. Picture her in a sunlit chamber, embroidering a tapestry, her fingers moving with quiet precision. She acknowledges the knight's service with a nod or a soft word of thanks, her demeanor calm and dignified. Her role is not to reciprocate romantically, but to inspire, to embody the virtues that the knight seeks to emulate. Their interactions are a delicate dance, a mutual exchange of respect that elevates both their spirits. The court watches, its members attuned to the subtle beauty of this tradition, where admiration and honor weave a quiet harmony. Courtly love was not confined to the castle, but rippled outward, influencing the knight's interactions with the wider world. Imagine him pausing by a village well, offering a kind word to an elderly woman drawing water, his courtesy shaped by the ideals he holds dear. The principles of courtly love taught him to see worth in all, to treat every soul with the same respect he offered his lady. This gentle influence softened the edges of a world that could be harsh, creating moments of connection that lingered like the scent of flowers on a summer breeze. As we drift through these tender ideals, we see how courtly love was not about possession, but about elevation, a way for the knight to refine his heart and actions. It was a quiet art, practiced with patience and care, its beauty found in the small, deliberate acts that honored another's virtue. From the quiet musings of the heart, we gently shift our focus to the practicalities of a knight's appearance and the symbolic nature of his attire. Let's explore now the quiet rules of heraldry, the quiet language of shields, heraldry, and identity. Imagine a quiet field where colorful banners gently sway in the breeze, each bearing a unique design that seems to whisper tales of lineage and honor. In medieval Europe, these were not mere decorations, but a quiet language, a way for knights to express their identity and heritage through the gentle art of heraldry. Picture a castle courtyard, its cobblestones warmed by the soft light of a summer afternoon, where squires carefully polish shields, their surfaces gleaming with vibrant hues and intricate patterns. The air carries the faint scent of beeswax and leather, mingling with the distant hum of village life beyond the walls. As we drift through the serene world of heraldry, let your heart rest, your mind carried gently by the soothing rhythm of these ancient symbols, each one a soft thread in the tapestry of a knight's story, inviting you deeper into a peaceful reverie. Heraldry was a delicate art, a visual poetry that spoke without words, conveying a knight's place in the world with quiet elegance. It was born from a need to distinguish one noble from another, not in the clamor of grand events, but in the everyday moments of courtly life, banquets, gatherings, and gentle ceremonies. Imagine our knight standing in the great hall, his shield propped beside him, its surface adorned with a design that tells his story. Perhaps it bears a golden lion on a field of azure, or a silver crescent moon against a deep green backdrop. Each element, color, shape, and symbol was chosen with care, reflecting his family's history, his personal virtues, or the lands he called home. These designs were not boastful, but humble, a quiet declaration of identity that invited respect rather than rivalry. The colors of heraldry, known as tinctures, were a language of their own, each hue carrying a gentle meaning that resonated with the knight's character. Picture a banner fluttering above the castle, its rich red fabric glowing softly in the morning light. Red, or gules, spoke of courage and sacrifice, a reminder of the knight's duty to serve with a steadfast heart. Blue, or azure, shimmered like a tranquil lake, symbolizing loyalty and truth, virtues that anchored the knight's vows. Gold, or ore, gleamed with a warm radiance, representing generosity and wisdom, while silver, or argent, shone with a quiet purity, evoking sincerity and peace. Green, or vert, whispered of hope and renewal, like the first shoots of spring, and black, or sable, carried a somber dignity, reflecting constancy and grief. These colors were not chosen lightly. They were a reflection of the knight's soul, a palette that painted his essence in soft, deliberate strokes. The symbols, or charges, that adorn a knight's shield were equally meaningful, each one a quiet story etched in wood and paint. Imagine the knight's shield resting against a stone wall, its surface bearing the image of a lion, its mane flowing in graceful curves. The lion was a symbol of strength and nobility, a gentle nod to the knight's role as a protector. An eagle, its wings spread wide, soared across another shield, representing vision and freedom, a reminder of the knight's aspiration to rise above earthly concerns. A rose, delicate and soft, bloomed on yet another, speaking of beauty and hope, perhaps a tribute to a lady who inspired the knight's courtly devotion. Trees, stars, crosses, and crescents all found their place in heraldry, each chosen to reflect a truth about the knight or his lineage, their forms rendered with a serene simplicity that invited contemplation. The design of a shield was not a solitary creation, but a collaboration, guided by heralds, learned men who served as the keepers of this quiet art. Picture a herald seated in a sunlit chamber, his desk strewn with parchments that trace the lineages of noble families. His quill moves with a soft scratch, sketching a new design for our knight's shield, perhaps combining the symbols of his father and mother to honor both. The herald speaks in a low, measured voice, explaining the meaning of each element, his words flowing like a gentle stream. The knight listens, his heart stirred by the thought of carrying his family's legacy into the world. This process was not hurried. It unfolded with a calm deliberation, ensuring that every line and color was perfect, a true reflection of the knight's identity. Heraldry extended beyond shields to banners, surcoats, and even horse trappings, creating a harmonious tapestry of symbols that surrounded the knight. Imagine him riding through a meadow, his horse draped in a soft cloth embroidered with his crest, the fabric rippling gently in the breeze. His surcoat, worn over his armor, bears the same design, its colors vibrant yet soothing, like a painting brought to life. These items were not mere adornments, but extensions of the knight's being, a way to carry his identity into every corner of his world. As he passes a village, the villagers pause, their eyes drawn to the familiar symbols, a quiet reassurance of their lord's presence. The sight of his banner, fluttering high above the castle, was a beacon of continuity, a reminder that the knight's family had stood for generations, their values enduring like the ancient stones of the castle itself. The rules of heraldry were precise yet gentle, ensuring that each design was unique, a singular voice in a chorus of noble identities. Picture a gathering of knights in a castle hall, their shields lined along the walls, each one distinct yet harmonious, like notes in a soft melody. The heralds ensured that no two designs were alike, preventing confusion and fostering a sense of unity. Certain patterns, known as ordinaries, stripes, crosses, or chevrons, divided the shield into fields, creating a framework for the symbols within. These patterns were simple, their lines clean and graceful, allowing the colors and charges to shine without overwhelming the eye. The knight's shield was a balance of form and meaning, a quiet work of art that spoke to both heart and mind. Heraldry was also a way to connect the knight to his past, a bridge to the ancestors who shaped his path. Imagine him standing in the castle's chapel, where the tombs of his forebears are adorned with their own heraldic designs, carved in stone or painted in soft hues. As he traces the lines of a lion or a star, he feels a quiet bond, a sense of being part of something greater than himself. These symbols were not just his own, but a legacy, passed down through generations like a whispered prayer. In moments of reflection, perhaps by the fire as the castle slept, the knight might think of his grandfather, whose shield bore the same crescent moon, and feel a gentle pride in continuing his story. The art of heraldry was not static, but evolved with the knight's life, reflecting his achievements and alliances. Picture him receiving a new element for his shield, perhaps a star to mark a pilgrimage or a rose to honor a lady's inspiration. The herald works with him to incorporate this symbol, ensuring it blends seamlessly with the existing design, like a new verse in a familiar song. These additions were not boastful, but subtle, a quiet acknowledgement of the knight's growth. The shield became a living record, a canvas that told the story of his journey with a serene dignity. In a wider world, heraldry fostered a sense of community, a shared language that bound knights together. Imagine a tournament, not a clash of swords, but a gentle gathering where knights display their banners, their colors mingling like a garden in bloom. The sight of these symbols was a reminder of their shared values, their commitment to chivalry and honor. Villagers and nobles alike recognized the designs, associating them with tales of kindness or service, a quiet testament to the knight's character. The knight carried his shield with a calm pride, knowing it was not just his own, but a symbol of trust and respect in the eyes of those he served. As a knight carried his gentle shield through life, he was also bound by quiet expectations when interacting with others of his rank. The symbols he bore were a promise, a commitment to live with honor and to treat his peers with the same respect he offered his lady or his lord. Let's softly explore now the unspoken rules of etiquette between knights, a code as delicate as the designs they carried. Gentle respect, etiquette among knights. In the quiet gatherings of knights, whether in a castle hall or at a gentle tournament, there existed an unspoken code of conduct, a gentle understanding of respect between equals. Imagine a great hall, its high ceiling lost in the soft shadows, where the warm glow of torches dances across polished wooden tables. The air carries the faint scent of roasted herbs and beeswax, mingling with a murmur of voices as knights share stories and laughter. Their interactions are not marked by rivalry or bravado, but by a serene deference, a mutual recognition of their shared commitment to honor. As we drift through the delicate rules of etiquette that guided these men in medieval Europe, let your mind rest, carried gently by the soothing rhythm of their courteous exchanges, each moment a soft whisper of dignity and grace from a time long past. The etiquette among knights was a tapestry of subtle gestures and quiet courtesies, woven into the fabric of their daily lives. Picture our knight entering a castle hall, his cloak brushing softly against the stone floor, his shield bearing the familiar crest of his family. As he approaches another knight, perhaps a guest from a neighboring estate, he offers a gentle nod, his eyes warm with recognition. This simple gesture, unhurried and deliberate, is a silent acknowledgement of the other's status, a way of saying, "I see you, and I honor your place." The other knight returns the nod, his own movements calm and measured, their exchange a quiet dance of respect that sets the tone for their interaction. These greetings were not formalities, but heartfelt expressions of mutual esteem, creating a sense of harmony that enveloped the gathering like a soft mist. Conversation among knights was guided by a principle of thoughtful restraint, ensuring that words were chosen with care to foster unity rather than discord. Imagine a group of knights seated around a table, their goblets filled with spiced wine that glimmers in the firelight. One knight speaks, his voice low and steady, sharing a tale of a pilgrimage or a kind deed performed for a villager. The others listen attentively, their faces calm, nodding gently to show their engagement. They do not interrupt or vie for attention. Instead, they wait, allowing each voice to be heard in its own time. If a disagreement arises, it is addressed with a quiet patience, perhaps with a soft question or a gentle suggestion, like a breeze smoothing the ripples on a pond. This careful speech was a cornerstone of knightly etiquette, a way to honor each other's thoughts and maintain the serenity of the moment. The act of sharing a meal was another opportunity for knights to demonstrate their courteous nature, a ritual steeped in mutual respect. Picture the great hall during a feast, where long tables are laden with platters of bread, fruit, and roasted meats, their aromas filling the air with warmth. Our knight sits beside a fellow knight, perhaps an elder whose shield bears the marks of a storied lineage. As the meal begins, the knight offers to serve his companion, slicing a portion of meat with a steady hand and placing it on his plate with a quiet smile. The elder knight responds with a soft word of thanks, his eyes crinkling with appreciation. Such acts of service were not servile, but noble, a way to show deference and care for one another. The clink of goblets and the soft murmur of conversation create a soothing backdrop, binding the knights in a shared moment of fellowship. In larger gatherings, such as tournaments or courtly assemblies, the rules of etiquette became even more pronounced, guiding knights to honor each other's dignity in public settings. Imagine a tournament field, not filled with the clash of combat, but with the gentle pageantry of display. Banners flutter softly in the breeze, their heraldic designs glowing in the sunlight, as knights parade in a slow, deliberate procession. Our knight rides among them, his horse stepping lightly, his posture relaxed yet dignified. As he passes another knight, he raises his hand in a gentle salute, a gesture of respect that acknowledges his peer's presence. The other knight mirrors the salute, their eyes meeting briefly in a moment of quiet understanding. These public displays of courtesy were a testament to their shared values, a way to show the world that knighthood was defined by grace as much as by strength. The etiquette of hospitality was another gentle thread in the knightly code, particularly when knights visited each other's castles. Picture our knight arriving at a neighboring lord's keep, his horse's hooves muffled by the soft earth of the road. The host knight greets him at the gate, his smile warm, his arms open in a gesture of welcome. He invites our knight into the hall, offering him a seat by the fire and a cup of warm mead, its sweetness lingering on the tongue. The host ensures his guests' comfort, perhaps offering a soft blanket or directing a squire to tend to his horse with care. In return, our knight expresses his gratitude with quiet sincerity, perhaps presenting a small token, a ribbon or a carved wooden figure, as a gesture of appreciation. This exchange of hospitality was a delicate balance, a way to strengthen bonds between knights and their households, creating a sense of unity that stretched across the land. Even in moments of potential conflict, the etiquette among knights emphasized resolution through calm dialogue rather than confrontation. Imagine two knights in a council chamber, their voices rising slightly as they discuss a matter of land or honor. The room is quiet, save for the crackle of the fire and the soft rustle of parchment. Rather than escalating, one knight pauses, his hand resting lightly on the table, and offers a gentle smile, inviting the other to share his perspective. The second knight responds in kind, his tone softening as he explains his view, their words weaving a path toward understanding. This commitment to peaceful resolution was a hallmark of knightly etiquette, a reminder that honor was best preserved through patience and respect, not through pride or haste. The relationships between knights were often deepened by shared experiences, such as joint pilgrimages or quiet moments of reflection. Picture our knight riding alongside a companion, their horses moving in a steady rhythm through a misty valley, the air cool and fragrant with pine. They speak softly, sharing stories of their families or their hopes for the future, their voices blending with the gentle sounds of nature. In these moments, the bonds of friendship grow, rooted in mutual respect and a shared commitment to the chivalric code. These connections were not loud or ostentatious, but quiet, like the steady growth of a tree, their strength found in the unspoken trust that bound them. The etiquette among knights also extended to their treatment of those who served them, reflecting their humility and grace. Imagine our knight walking through the castle stables, where a young squire brushes a horse with careful strokes. The knight pauses, offering a soft word of encouragement, perhaps placing a hand on the boy's shoulder with a gentle touch. This small act, unremarkable in its simplicity, reinforces the squire's sense of purpose, showing him that his efforts are valued. Such gestures were a quiet extension of the knight's code, a way to uplift those around him and foster a sense of community within the castle walls. As the day draws to a close, the knight might stand on the castle ramparts, the stars emerging like tiny lanterns in the velvet sky. The cool night air brushes his face, carrying the faint scent of wood smoke from the village below. He reflects on the day's interactions, the nods of respect, the shared meals, the quiet moments of understanding, and feels a gentle pride in the bonds he has nurtured. These courtesies, though small, are the threads that weave the fabric of knighthood, creating a world where honor and respect reign supreme. And as a knight approached the latter stages of his quiet life, his role often shifted, his experiences shaping him into a figure of wisdom and guidance. Let's drift now to the gentle wisdom and experience that came with age as we explore the life of the elder knight. The elder knight, quiet wisdom and legacy. As the years gently passed, a knight's journey would often lead him to a phase of quiet reflection and peaceful wisdom. Imagine the elder knight perhaps seated by a warm fire, its golden glow casting soft shadows across the stone walls of his chamber. His hair, now streaked with silver, catches the light, and his eyes, though weathered by time, shine with a calm clarity born of experience. The castle around him hums with the quiet rhythms of life, servants' footsteps echoing faintly, the distant murmur of a lute drifting from the hall. The air carries the comforting scent of wood smoke and aged parchment, a reminder of the years that have shaped his story. As we drift through the serene world of the elder knight in medieval Europe, let your mind rest, carried gently by the soothing cadence of his tranquil existence, each moment a soft whisper of wisdom and legacy from time long past. The elder knight's life was not one of grand action, but of gentle influence, his presence a steady anchor in a world that continued to turn. No longer bound to the daily duties of youth, he stepped into a role of quiet authority, his experience a treasure more valuable than gold. Picture him in the castle's great hall, seated at a long table where younger knights and squires gather, their faces turned toward him with respect. His voice, low and measured, carries the weight of years as he shares a story, not of battles, but of choices made with care, of promises kept through patience, of kindnesses that rippled through time. The fire crackles softly, its warmth enveloping the room, and the listeners lean closer, their hearts stirred by the gentle wisdom in his words. These moments of counsel were not lectures, but offerings, shared with a humility that invited trust and reflection. As an advisor, the elder knight served as lord or community with a calm discernment, his insights shaped by a lifetime of observing the delicate balance of honor and duty. Imagine him in a council chamber, where sunlight filters through narrow windows, casting gentle beams across a table strewn with maps and letters. The Lord speaks, his voice tinged with concern over a matter of land or alliance, and the elder knight listens, his hands folded, his gaze steady. When he speaks, his words are soft yet profound, suggesting a path that honors tradition while embracing peace. His counsel is not driven by ambition, but by a quiet desire to nurture harmony, to guide those around him toward decisions that endure. The room seems to still as he speaks, the rustle of parchment and the distant chirp of birds creating a serene backdrop to his thoughts. The Elder Knight's role as a mentor was equally gentle, a chance to pass his knowledge to the next generation with care and patience. Picture him in the castle courtyard, where a young squire practices with a wooden staff, his movements eager but unpolished. The Elder Knight watches, leaning on a carved walking stick, his smile warm and encouraging. He steps forward, his cloak brushing the cobblestones, and offers a quiet suggestion, perhaps adjusting the boy's grip with a gentle touch. His voice is soft, like the rustle of leaves, as he shares a lesson learned long ago. How strength lies not in force, but in balance. How honor is found in small, deliberate acts. The squire nods, his eyes bright with understanding, and the Elder Knight steps back, content to watch the boy grow, his heart lifted by the quiet joy of teaching. Beyond the castle, the Elder Knight often oversaw his estate with a tender stewardship, ensuring its prosperity for those who depended on him. Imagine him riding slowly through his lands, his horse moving at a gentle pace, the air fragrant with the scent of ripened wheat and wildflowers. He pauses by a village where children play in the dust, their laughter mingling with the soft clatter of a blacksmith's hammer. The villagers greet him with warm smiles, their faces reflecting trust in their lord's care. He speaks with a farmer, listening patiently as the man describes the season's harvest and offers a kind word or a practical suggestion, his voice steady and reassuring. These visits were not formal inspections, but moments of connection, a way to weave himself into the fabric of the community with a gentle hand. The land seemed to respond to his care, its fields lush and serene, a reflection of the peace he cultivated. The Elder Knight's days were filled with quiet pastimes that brought joy and reflection, grounding him in the simple pleasures of life. Picture him in a sunlit garden, where roses bloom in soft shades of pink and white, their petals catching the morning dew. He tends to the plants with a careful touch, pruning a branch or tying a vine to a trellis, his movements slow and deliberate. The hum of bees and the gentle trickle of a fountain create a soothing symphony, allowing his mind to wander through memories of youth. The vows he took, the friendships he forged, the lessons he learned. Gardening was not a task, but a meditation, a way to nurture life and find peace in the quiet rhythm of growth. Another gentle pursuit was reading, a solace for the Elder Knight's contemplative heart. Imagine him in his chamber, seated by a window where soft light spills across an open book, its pages yellowed with age. The book might be a collection of poetry, its verses praising chivalry and love, or a chronicle of his family's history, its words tracing the deeds of ancestors long gone. His fingers trace the inked lines, their texture grounding him in the moment, while his mind drifts through the stories, each one a soft echo of his own life. The room is still, save for the faint rustle of pages and the distant call of a bird, creating a cocoon of tranquility where the Elder Knight can lose himself in thought. The spiritual life of the Elder Knight remained a quiet anchor, guiding him through the twilight of his years. Picture him in the castle chapel, with a soft glow of candlelight bathes the stone walls, their surfaces worn smooth by time. He kneels, his joints stiff but his heart open, as the priest's voice weaves a prayer of gratitude and peace. The words settle over him like a gentle rain, soothing the aches of age and renewing his sense of purpose. These moments of prayer were not somber, but serene, a chance to reflect on a life well lived and to seek guidance for the days ahead. The chapel's stillness wrapped around him, a reminder that his legacy was not only in the world he shaped, but in the quiet faith that sustained him. The Elder Knight's presence was a legacy in itself, a living testament to the chivalric code he had embodied. Imagine him walking through the castle, his steps slow but steady, as younger knights paused to offer a respectful nod. His life was a tapestry of gentle deeds, vows kept, wisdom shared, kindnesses offered without expectation of reward. In the eyes of those around him, he was not a figure of distant grandeur, but a quiet inspiration, a reminder that honor and grace could endure through time. His stories, told by the fire or in the courtyard, became part of the castle's lore, their lessons lingering like the scent of lavender in a summer breeze. As the seasons turned, the elder knight found peace in the knowledge that his work would live on, not in monuments, but in the hearts he had touched. Picture him standing on the castle ramparts, the cool night air brushing his face, the stars above like tiny candles in a vast cathedral. He gazes over the land he has cared for, its fields and villages sleeping under a blanket of moonlight. His heart is full, not with pride, but with a quiet gratitude for the life he has led, for the chance to serve and guide with a gentle hand. And so, our exploration of the strange, yet gentle, rules of medieval knights slowly draws to a close. The elder knight's life, with its serene wisdom and quiet legacy, invites us to reflect on the enduring power of honor lived softly. Let's take our final, soft steps now, contemplating the lasting echoes of these quiet codes. Lasting echoes, the gentle legacy of knightly codes. As our quiet journey nears its end, let us gently contemplate the lasting echoes of these strange, yet beautiful, rules of medieval knights. The principles of chivalry, though perhaps softened by time, left a quiet imprint on the gentle unfolding of Western culture, their influence lingering like the faint glow of candlelight in a darkened hall. Imagine a vast library, its shelves lined with ancient tomes, their pages whispering tales of honor, courtesy, and devotion. The air is still, scented with the subtle fragrance of aged leather and ink, while outside, the soft rustle of leaves carries the memory of a world long past. As we drift through the serene legacy of knightly codes, let your mind rest, cradled by the soothing rhythm of these enduring ideals, each one a tender thread woven into the fabric of history, inviting you to sink deeper into a peaceful reverie. The code of chivalry, with its gentle virtues of loyalty, truthfulness, and respect, was not confined to the stone walls of medieval castles, but flowed outward, like a stream finding new paths through distant lands. Its principles became a quiet foundation for Western thought, shaping notions of honor and morality that resonated through centuries. Picture a Renaissance scholar, seated at a wooden desk in a sunlit study, his quill scratching softly as he writes of the ideal gentleman. His words draw from the chivalric code, praising qualities like courtesy and compassion, which he sees as the mark of a refined soul. The knight's commitment to protecting the weak, to speaking truth, to acting with humility, became a model for this new ideal, a vision of manhood that valued inner grace over outward power. These ideas, though dressed in the language of a later age, carried the soft echo of knighthood, a reminder that honor was not a fleeting act, but a way of being. In literature, the knightly codes found a timeless voice, their stories woven into tales that captured the hearts of generations. Imagine a quiet evening in a 16th century manor, where a family gathers by the fire, their faces warmed by its golden glow. A book lies open, its pages filled with the adventures of King Arthur and his Round Table, a legend born in the medieval imagination. The stories of Sir Gawain, Sir Lancelot, and others are not tales of conquest, but of quests for virtue, promises kept, wrongs righted, hearts guided by a gentle code. The listeners, young and old, are lulled by the rhythm of the words, their minds drifting to a world where honor shines like a star in a velvet sky. These tales, though embellished by time, preserve the essence of chivalry, its ideals of loyalty and courtesy woven into every line, their beauty undimmed by the passing of years. The concept of courtly love, with its quiet devotion and idealized respect, left a particularly soft imprint on literature and art. Picture a troubadour in a Renaissance court, his fingers gently plucking the strings of a lute, his voice low and melodic as he sings of a lady's virtues. The song, though composed centuries after the medieval era, carries the delicate spirit of courtly love, praising admiration without possession, reverence without demand. Painters, too, drew from this tradition, their canvases filled with images of knights kneeling before ladies, their faces serene, their gestures tender. These works, displayed in grand halls or quiet chapels, invited viewers to pause, to feel the quiet power of love that uplifts rather than consumes. The legacy of courtly love was not in grand romances, but in the subtle art of honoring another's worth, a practice that softened the edges of human connection across time. The knightly codes also influenced the ideals of gentlemanly conduct, a concept that emerged in later centuries as a quiet descendant of chivalry. Imagine a 19th century drawing room, its walls adorned with soft tapestries, where gentlemen converse in low tones, their manners polished yet sincere. The idea of the gentleman, courteous, honorable, and protective, owes much to the knight's code, its roots buried deep in the medieval soil. A gentleman might open a door with a graceful gesture, his smile warm, or listen attentively to another's troubles, his presence a quiet balm. These acts, though small, echoed the knight's commitment to respect and service, a legacy that shaped social interactions with a gentle hand. The chivalric ideal, stripped of its armor and heraldry, lived on in these everyday courtesies, a reminder that honor could be found in the simplest moments. The spiritual dimension of chivalry, with its emphasis on humility and faith, also left a quiet mark on Western culture. Picture a Victorian church, its pews filled with worshippers, their heads bowed as sunlight streams through stained glass, casting gentle hues across the stone floor. The sermons they hear speak of compassion and selflessness, virtues that trace their lineage to the knight's vows in a medieval chapel. The knight's practice of nightly vigils, of seeking guidance through prayer, inspired later generations to value inner reflection, to see faith as a quiet compass for life's journey. This spiritual legacy was not dogmatic, but serene, encouraging a heart open to others, a soul attuned to the gentle whispers of conscience. Even in the realm of law and governance, the knightly codes cast a soft shadow, their principles of justice and protection shaping societal ideals. Imagine a 17th century courtroom, where a judge, robed in black, listens with calm attention to a case before him. His commitment to fairness, to defending the vulnerable, reflects the knight's duty to uphold right over might. The chivalric ideal of protecting the weak became a cornerstone of legal thought, inspiring systems that sought to balance power with compassion. These ideas, though formalized in later ages, carried the quiet spirit of knighthood, a belief that authority was not a privilege, but a responsibility to be wielded with care and grace. The visual legacy of heraldry, with its vibrant colors and gentle symbols, continued to inspire long after the medieval era. Picture a modern museum where a tapestry hangs, its threads woven with lions, stars, and crosses, their designs as vivid as the day they were created. Visitors pause, their eyes tracing the graceful lines, feeling a quiet connection to the knights who bore these symbols. Heraldry became a language of identity, adopted by families, cities, and institutions, each crest a soft nod to the medieval art of belonging. Coats of arms adorned public buildings, their colors glowing softly in the sunlight, a reminder of the knight's commitment to lineage and honor. This legacy was not about possession, but about continuity, a way to carry the past gently into the present. The knightly codes also inspired movements of social reform, their emphasis on protecting the vulnerable echoing in efforts to uplift the marginalized. Imagine a 19th century philanthropist walking through a bustling city, his heart stirred by the sight of those in need. His work, building schools, aiding the poor, reflects the knight's vow to serve the weak, a quiet call to action that transcends time. These reformers, though far removed from the medieval world, carried the chivalric spirit in their deeds, their efforts a soft ripple of the knight's legacy, spreading compassion through a changing world. In education, the ideals of chivalry shaped the cultivation of character, a gentle thread woven into the upbringing of youth. Picture a 20th century classroom, where students read tales of knights and their virtues, their young minds stirred by stories of honor and kindness. Teachers drew from these ideals, encouraging qualities like respect and integrity, seeing them as timeless guides for a meaningful life. The Knight's Code, with its emphasis on personal growth through service, became a quiet model for shaping individuals who valued others as much as themselves. This educational legacy was not rigid, but flexible, adapting to new contexts while preserving the serene essence of chivalry. The enduring appeal of knightly codes lies in their universality, their ability to speak to the human heart across centuries. Imagine a quiet park in our own time, where a person sits on a bench, a book of medieval tales in hand. The pages tell of knights who lived with purpose, their lives guided by a gentle code that prized honor over gain, kindness over pride. The reader pauses, feeling a soft resonance, a sense that these ideals still matter, that they offer a path to a life of meaning. The knight's legacy is not in grand monuments, but in these quiet moments of reflection, where the values of chivalry inspire small, deliberate acts. A kind word, a helping hand, a moment of patience in a hurried world. As we reflect on these lasting echoes, we see how the knightly codes were not bound by their time, but flowed forward like a river carving a gentle path through history. They softened the edges of human interaction, encouraging a world where respect and compassion could flourish. Picture a modern gathering, where friends share a meal, their laughter soft, their gestures kind. The courtesy they show, the care they take, carries a faint trace of the Knight's Code, a legacy that lives in the quiet spaces of everyday life. The chivalric ideals, though born in a world of castles and candles, remain a gentle guide, a reminder that honor is not a relic, but a living practice, as relevant now as it was then. The legacy of the knightly codes is also a call to reflection, an invitation to consider how we, too, might live with grace. Imagine standing in a quiet meadow, the grass swaying softly in the breeze, the sky above a canvas of soft blues and golds. In this stillness, the echoes of chivalry whisper, urging us to act with kindness, to speak with truth, to honor those around us with a gentle heart. These ideals, though ancient, are timeless, their power found in their simplicity, their beauty in their quiet persistence. And so, our story softly concludes, leaving us with a gentle sense of wonder at the quiet power of these ancient codes. As these final thoughts drift away, allow yourself to simply rest, to feel the calm embrace of history's whispers, carrying you toward a deep and peaceful slumber. And so, our quiet journey through the strange, yet gentle, rules that shaped the lives of medieval knights softly comes to a close. We have wandered through the serene halls of castles, drifted through the tender vows of knighthood, and lingered in the quiet rhythms of chivalry, courtesy, and honor. From the cradle of a young page to the wisdom of an elder knight, we've explored a world where duty and grace wove a tapestry of gentle deeds, their echoes lingering like the faint scent of lavender on a summer breeze. You've listened to the peaceful unfolding of history, not to memorize every detail, but to let its soothing cadence cradle your heart, guiding you toward a deeper state of rest. As the last whispers of these ancient codes fade, allow your mind to fully unwind, like a leaf drifting gently to the ground. Feel the soft comfort of your bed beneath you, the gentle rise and fall of your breath, the warmth of this moment wrapping around you like a soft cloak. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to hold on to, just the quiet peace of this night, as serene as a starlit meadow. Let the weight of the day slip away, carried off by the tranquil flow of history's stories. May your sleep be deep, undisturbed, and filled with gentle dreams of stone walls and candlelight. Thank you for joining this quiet exploration of a world long past. Until we meet again, sleep peacefully and rest deeply.